That Great Business Show, Ireland's best business podcast.
Welcome to episode 138 of That Great Business Show, posting on the 28th of April 2023. I am Conal O'Moran, Voltister. Coming up, business tips, insights, and opportunities. And our podcast is just long enough for your daily walk, keeping you healthy, wealthy, and wise. Thanks to donedeal.ie. On this episode, as always, we ask the big questions like, is it antennas or antennae? Whichever you choose, we have found you an extraordinary leash-based antenna maker that is conquering the world. Their business problems are your business problems, and they've found fixes. A reminder that on episode 137, we had Mary Rose Lyons of Brightspark on talking about ChatGPT. Mary Rose explains all you need to know in just about 20 minutes, and her insights will save you muchos euros, as well as a load of time in your business. Do listen back to that one. And congratulations to our big-time supporter, Mark O'Dwyer of the Big Red Cloud, who is celebrating 30 years in business this week. Mark was on to me to say that they have just bought Galway company Joyce Software, makers of Turbo Inventory, now part of your Big Red Cloud package. Mark is recruiting, like the rest of the world. So if you know someone looking for a job, give Mark a shout and tell him we sent you. All our tips and insights are brought to you thanks to Dundeel Motors, the only place to look for your new, or as we say, previously loved car, van or truck. Dundeel.ie.
Dundeel Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Dundeel. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit dundeel.ie today to start the search for your next car.
De facto shaving oil, the world's best shaving oil, made in Mayo, sold worldwide.
All That Great Business Show advertisers are Team GBS approved. Back them.
You've all heard of the Teletubbies. Now, thanks to That Great Business Show, you're going to learn about Telebellies. Telebellies is just one of the creations of Alpha Wireless, a little gem of a company hidden away in County Laois, but gaining serious traction in the world of antennas globally. Antennas are really, really interesting because they're going to solve an awful lot of problems for us. Fergal Lawlor, CEO, founded Alpha Wireless in 2007, having started his career with the Irish Defence Forces. He also spent some time in Australia, and he had a spell also with Sigma Wireless. He holds a number of antenna-related patents, as one does, and he's joining us now on That Great Business Show. Fergal Lawlor, welcome to That Great Business Show.
Thank you.
You were a while coming here. You're hard to track down, but you've decided to go public.
Yes.
There must be something about going public. Why are you decided after 2007 is when you started? So what's that, about 16 years? You decided to out yourself.
Yeah, maybe a lot of pressure from the marketing team to get out and do more, but it's...
But you have Dublin or Ireland sewn up. You're into the UK, the US, Canada, Australia. You're busy.
Very busy, yes. So lots of travel around to the different regions in that as well. And Israel then is another, like one of our main customers is an Israeli-based company. So working with them since probably 2010.
Tell the world what the company does and then your marketing team will love you.
Yes. So we design and manufacture antenna solutions, right? So we've, our headquarters is down in Laois, where all the design is carried out and manufacturing there as well. So we have about 80 people down in Laois, and design team then in Australia, sales in Canada and US. And yeah, we're shipping globally. We're always looking to find better ways to kind of build wireless networks. We understand that, you know, the more and more people want connectivity, the more and more towers you need. But no one really wants all these towers in their back garden. So kind of coming up with slick ways to do that. So work very close with our customers, understand the challenges. Each country and each jurisdiction can be different. The planning rules are different. So you had one of our customers on recently Colin from Cellnex and some of the activities that they're doing with the Get Connected, like putting solutions where, for years these are black spots because you couldn't put anything else. So being able to identify those, what you call concealed solutions that allows you to put antennas in plain sight, something where you won't get your standard products.
Where you pretend that you're a tree, for example?
That's one of them, yes. But
what are the other ones that you've hidden?
So we hide them in, when you talk about the big belly solutions, that's, you see in Dublin, you have the radios hidden in the compartment in the bottom and the pole and the antennas on top.
That's really clever. And again, for those who are outside the city, it is big belly is your big bin.
Yeah,
and
smart
this thing
waste bins, yeah.
And they have a big antenna stuck at the very, very top. Oh, what about, it must be 30 feet tall?
It should be 7 meters up, typically.
Oh, sorry, that's new money, 7 meters. Okay, and they are, one of the problems, as I understand it, we're 3G is almost gone now, isn't it?
Yeah, but a lot of people are shutting down 3G, yeah.
And we're on to 4G. 5G was meant to be the next great big thing, which it is, except with 5G, tell me more, you're the experts, is that you need a load of them.
Yeah, so the 5G, there's a number of things, but the frequency being one of them, you really need to get the sites closer to where the users are. And there could be 10x the number of sites required that was done in 4G. But the old traditional way of being outside of the town and shooting in with the signal doesn't work as well for 5G. A lot of I
thought that 5G was going to solve all our problems. And now you're telling me it's created a problem. It's a problem that suits you.
It's created an opportunity. It's created an opportunity. But the big challenge then is how do you build, so if you imagine how do you build that amount of sites in plain sight without everyone going crazy what's going on. So you got to have creative solutions, and Big Belly is one of the solutions that we're working with. So we do that here in Dublin, but we're also in Canada doing that.
And you used one of my least favourite phrases. You said it's got 10x times that you need. In other words, you need 10 times the amount. But I thought that the whole point of 5G was that it could carry more information and therefore might even need less. But you're now telling me you need far, 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 far more.
Yeah, you need far, far more for sure because of the amount you want to carry, but also then the frequencies that you're operating on. So you're at a higher frequency, which means the distance to propagation is a lot shorter. So you really need to keep close to where the users are.
And what does that mean for us eventually? I do remember reading quite a long time ago that there could be antennae, whatever shape they were in, might be on street lamps or they might be stuck on the side of your house or. Is that going to happen?
It's part of what we're working on, yes. So putting them on street poles is probably the first step, right? So we're doing a lot of that, like that one I talked about, Big Belly, that looks like a street pole. A lot of what we do with Cellnex, the antennas will be up and they'll have a disguise as street poles. But it's more and more, like every second, third pole in some of the cities in the US will have antennas connected to them.
And is that just to keep the locals on the phone, or
no,
what else is it carrying?
It's data. Look, the whole application, the killer app for 5G really hasn't come yet. Like the autonomous vehicles and things like that people talk about.
And is that going to be the big one?
Well, that's probably what we're talking about for 5G. Just probably push that out of G now at this stage. They're saying when it gets into the 6G, that could be the applications. I think now we're seeing one of the biggest applications for 5G is fixed wireless access. So using it to compete with the wired broadband. So mobile operators are now able to offer very high speeds wireless.
So when are we going to see the benefits of this? I'm the centre of Dublin, and I won't even name them, Vodafone. They still can't give me a phone system in the centre of the city. And when are we going to see the benefits of this?
It should be there at this stage, right? Like at the most areas, like if there's areas in Dublin that's not covered now, I'm sure there's plans in place to, whether it's applications to put a solution there for that.
But this is where you must love this. It's hen and egg. You provide antennae and the usage goes up because people can use it for different things. And it's a forever, it's a virtuous circle for you.
It is like 4G, like the companies that come out of the fact that you could now be mobile with data, so we haven't seen that yet with 5G, but the real rollout of 5G, as I said, is very much at the early days. People have built 4G or 5G radios on top of 4G, on top of the traditional towers. So you're really kind of 5G on a 4G backbone. Standalone 5G really hasn't kind of begun yet, and that's going to be much faster speeds and a lot more of them as well.
I'll get on to the autonomous cars in a second, but while you're on about these antennae and that they are more powerful effectively, are they zapping us? Do you go around with a tin helmet on?
Certainly not. If you really think about it, the closer you are to the antenna, the less power you're sending back from your phone to the antenna. So people are holding the phones to their heads, so you're better closer to the to the transmitters.
I haven't heard that one again. Actually, you better give a shout out to your daughter, because she's got a big birthday today. Because I mention your daughter because you, like many others, have kids to worry about. And if you're really worried about your kids, you wouldn't probably be doing things that were going to destroy them. So you better give her a big shout out.
Yeah, so happy birthday, Jenna.
Who's 16 today. Yeah. So happy birthday to you, Jenna. Your autonomous vehicles, I mean, they're still, dare I say, still pie in the sky. They probably will be there soon, but not yet. What else are you planning on that's going to gobble up your antennae and use them and grow Alpha Wireless into a huger company?
So you can see some of the activities even with, and Dublin City Council are doing it with augmented reality people. So there's like having the very good connectivity around the cities allows to those type of applications to start off as well. So that's
a long time coming though too. Again, do you remember? I had obviously take a big interest in this kind of stuff. But we were meant to be able to walk down Grafton Street with the free Wi-Fi and all that. I don't know if that's still there. Is that now there?
No.
Where did that go?
Yeah.
Like, Wi-Fi is free. At least the hotels nowadays are honest, and they just say, yeah, I would just use the Wi-Fi code.
Yeah, but really, again, for the whole security, so like another huge kind of growth opportunities around the area in private networks. And we're starting to see cities build out their own networks, but not Wi-Fi. Like, so the security is key. You start seeing utility companies building out their own private networks.
And sorry, on that, say a utility company, a private network to do what? Or is that just for their operatives or for the workers, or is it something else?
For operatives, for the vehicles, the tracking of the transformers, everything is kind of collected then on the private network. Some of the operatives then that are connected in that area would push to talk. Oil and gas type, they all keep their own, the private networks is for security. You see, particularly in the US, then there was a lot of people hacking in on the networks and holding companies ransom then as well. So having your own secure private network has huge advantages to those type of companies.
Which brings me neatly along to the Huawei word. And Huawei is a massive company that has caused serious worry amongst the Americans anyway, and I think across Europe now. And that's been actually useful for you. He says with a big smile on his face.
Well, a lot of there's huge money being pumped into the US by the US government, and bridge the digital divide to connect rural America. But just a lot of that had been Huawei-based, ZTE-based networks. So the government has pumped huge money, what they call a rip and replace program. So they're paying the operators to take down that equipment and replace it with new equipment.
For security reasons?
Yes, that's the driver for it, yes. So
Now, I'm going to ask you, and I'm looking at you straight in the eye, do you believe that Huawei are listening in on behalf of anybody, even if it's from behalf of Huawei?
So look, I can't make a judge in that. Let's say the antennas are passive devices. What we do is a passive device, and so there's no backdoors possible or anything like that.
If you wanted to listen in, surely with everything that you know, you can listen in somewhere, somehow.
But tell me the rest of them aren't listening. If your phones are on now, someone's listening to us probably, so...
So you're not worried about that. So back to my autonomous cars. What else, when you're sound asleep or even just nodding off, probably not sound asleep, what are you dreaming of that could really revolutionize the use of 5G now, 6G only in the next couple of years? Again,
where we're focused on is how to integrate all the solutions. As you're saying, you want connectivity on every pole. We're very close. So that's very, very tricky to do. The radios are still very visible. You got connectivity from the cables to the radio to the antennas, and putting all that into a very integrated solution that people don't see on the poles. You still need the radios, the power, to be able to drive that signal. So it's tricky to have independent units all stuck on the poles. So we've kind of come up with these, we call them the concealed antennas. We're trying to break the radio down, put it inside the antenna, less losses because it's closer to it, and make it like a seamless transition from the pole to the antenna, so people see it as just a pole. Really trying to stop putting obvious things in front of people that they say, yeah, we don't want that connectivity in, or we don't want that on our street. We don't want that, but yet we really want the high speed. So it's a constant battle of NIMBY type behaviours that people have.
Presume that in your dream world, you'd love to have the biggest, ugliest antenna available, the highest antenna available, and just give people a dirty, great big signal.
No, that wouldn't be good for us. That would be good for some of the end customers. But we like, our business is all about trying to find better ways to do that, right? So if it's just a big, ugly tower on the top of the tower, that's not something we will compete so well in. Like, there's a lot of other very, very big competitors in our space, right? They all do this, what we call kind of cookie cutter approach, a standard off the shelf antenna designed to cover every market. We look at it differently. We've tried to bring our designs into this kind of modular approach where we can work very, very close with the customer, understand the chances. It's not everything isn't going back to the drawing board for a new design, but a lot of them are tweaks to a design to allow them to get specifically what they want.
And am I right in saying that you manufacture these in Laois?
Correct, yes.
And then the problem starts, because you've already told me about this. Shipping is a curse out of this country. Discuss.
A nightmare is right, yeah. And improved over the last bit, but since COVID, like booking containers, we bring a lot of product in as well. We bring in sub-assemblies and then we have to try to ship it back out. Some of the antennas, like the large street work antennas, we're talking up to 6-7 metre antennas. So looking at a 40-foot containers, booking them in advance, they get rerouted a different way, and your customers there are screaming, where's the antennas? We've just, what we call our Gen 3, our next generation version of these trisectors now. We've gone a complete modular approach. So we've managed to take them down into whatever, maybe 1.8 metre stacks, 3 sectors around it. So now we can ship them in a manageable size, and then on the far side...
You are an entrepreneur and you were faced with a problem and you have solved it by making it shorter. And that's a solution, isn't it?
Very much, yes. And it then gives them an upgrade path then, so they can start off with 1 or 2 stacks, and then if they get new technology, new frequency bands, they can come in and add in this additional stack. So
I no doubt you sell those cheaper than the other ones. No,
there's extra costs involved.
I'm going to come back to you in a second, because we have to take a quick break, because you are, as we have discussed, you are running a global business from Laois. And I just want to discuss all of the troubles and this, it's a lovely idea, but time, for example, the watch, that type of time is sometimes against you. But we'll discuss that. We'll take a quick break just after this.
Dundeel Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Dundeel. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit dundeel.ie today to start the search for your next car.
Make one small switch. Switching from shaving foam to all-natural de facto shaving oil will give you the smoothest, softest shave ever. Switching from shaving oil to de facto helps stop 20 million non-recyclable shaving foam cans go to landfills every year. Switching from shaving oil to de facto will save your skin, your pocket and your planet. DeFactoShave.com.
All that great business show advertisers are Team GBS approved. Back them.
And I'm here with Fergal Lawlor, who is the CEO and founder of Laois-based Alpha Wireless, who is shipping his antenna or antennae. Actually, I forgot to ask you, do you call them antennae or antennas?
Antennas.
Antennas. Well, he's shipping his antennas all over the world. And that's great. And you've solved that problem you've just told us. However, when you're trying to do business with California and with Sydney, Australia, and with Israel, and with Ireland and the UK, do you stay awake 24 hours a day, or is it 25 hours a day?
I know. We've teams in most of these places, but still the communication with the teams is key. So it is challenging. The Australia-US one and us being in the middle does take a lot of the day, but we try to juggle around. At least weekends are kept away.
But even with a weekend, I have a daughter in Brisbane, Australia, and like her Mondays are Sunday, so it's not really true that your weekends are your own.
Possibly not. There's a bit of travel then on the weekends. If you're heading to the States or something like this week, we're heading with a show in New Orleans on Monday, so we'll be fly over there on Sunday. There's a lot of travel.
And
involved.
like you said, what did you say? You're employing a total of?
There's about 90 people. There's about 100 people in total. So about 90 of those are in Laois.
And you are, I won't say you're it, but you're a large part of it. So that's a big responsibility. And I know the excitement of growing something like that from 1 to 100 is lovely. But it is time consuming, literally, and it must burn you up as well.
I don't see the burn so much. Just, again, maybe the excitement part gets me more or keeps me through it, right? So there are constantly new challenges pop up, right? And again, just there's a good buzz in the team that's there is able to take that on. So we've lots of ups and downs in a business like anyone does, right? So there is a very strong team that's with us for 10 plus years now at this stage.
You told me that you hired some of those fellas out of the Defence Forces, didn't you?
We have some guys from the Defence Forces, yes. Yeah.
Because out of which you came, you're a long time out of the Defence Forces, aren't you?
That's for sure, yeah. Left in 1997, yeah.
And did you bring any lads with you from 1997?
No. Tried I tried when we set up first, but most of them are probably retired now at this stage. And
what, in terms of recruitment, is it an absolute nightmare to find good fellas or good people, because men and women?
It is difficult. Now, some of the advantages of being down in Laois, like a lot of people from Laois travel to Dublin and spend, and as I did before we set up, right, you're spending your day in a car or stuck on the M50 car park. So people coming down.
Fortunately, there are antennae everywhere, so you can talk.
You can talk. You couldn't then, but now people it's there's a lot of our catchment area in Laois, Carlow, Laois, Offaly, Meath, Westmeath. Like, so they're coming down, and a number of people travel down from Dublin, but they're going against traffic, so it's much easier. But we've also embraced the team in Australia. That's where the people were, so we set up an office there with 2 guys in Czech Republic again.
Why would you have chosen the Czech Republic per se?
Because one of the guys who worked with in Sigma Wireless, he's now heads up our R&D in Ireland, but he moved back to the Czech Republic, so that's we set up an office there to support that.
It's interesting how people and why people set up offices in various places. And you also told me, are you looking at North Carolina?
Looking at North Carolina to move out then to, start seeing there's huge growth opportunities in the US and Canada, like as we start, as the network densification really needs to, and it's kind of leading the way there. So coming up with these concealed solutions and telecom streetwork solutions, that's a good hub for us to be based out of.
Which is lovely and dandy when you are smaller, more lithe, and because you also told me that you had a contract with a very large corporation called Sprint. But then Sprint were taken over, and now you no longer have that contract.
Yeah, correct. So that was, back in maybe 2018, probably 16, 17, 18, we were on a great growth curve with Sprint as we start winning more and more of their business. But we were probably too reliant on a very large customer. But what do you do when you're starting off and they keep ordering?
Isn't that it? And what do you do? I mean, looking back now, what would you have done differently?
Look, we tried the plan in place was to diversify. Like we hired the team to diversify and bring on the wider customer base, but that takes time as well. Like, so we thought we would have more runway, but when the deal was announced, the plans kind of changed. So we had to.
Where did you hear that deal being announced?
We knew it was being talked about for a bit, right? So again, we had very close. We had an office. We opened our office in Kansas, so we were, and a lot of our team in the US was ex-Sprint, so we had a good insight to what was going on, but we didn't think it was going to be as drastic as it was, right? So going from,
Where were you when you heard?
I can't remember.
What were you feeling? What would you say? What were the exact words when it was announced?
Are we allowed to say it on the radio?
Yes, you are.
Oh, shit. Yeah, so
I'd say on a few more.
Yeah, so we figured we had to do we had to do some cutbacks, obviously. Like, it was half of our business just went.
Jeez, that's a lot.
Yeah, so it was a big... so then we reorged, kept the core team in place, which was key. So we knew this was going to be just a blip. So we had the other customers that we were working on that we'd just hadn't turned into large recurring customers yet. We're still all going and progressing nicely. So we did that, and now, we're gone up past where we were again. So, but it's taken us some time to get there.
But do you
more diverse this time, no one big customer. So we probably got there, but it's just taken us a little longer to do that.
And do you find any support from Ireland to try to get into those markets, be those the States, Australia, whatever?
Yeah, look, Enterprise Ireland has been super for us, right? We've been on the very first, when we're looking to start up a business, we went to Enterprise Ireland for a feasibility study, and they supported. So right since day one, we've got the backing of Enterprise Ireland, and whether it's R&D grants, key hires, trade show supports, business innovation, process improvements, lots of and then trade shows. They're at the big events and the introductions, just good support all around. So we find it very, very useful for companies like ourselves.
And with with Enterprise Ireland, are you talking to them in Dublin or Laois or where?
Dublin, and you have your DA from Dublin, but then in the local market, so in the US as well. So all the team in the US help with trade shows, consultants, just reports. There's a lot of it's up to yourself how much you want to use them, but probably the more you use them, the better it is, right?
And are you encouraging other people to use them as well? I mean, what would you say to people who are not using them? Are they just nuts?
I would say, we're in manufacturing, we're tech, we're exporting, so it really ticks a lot of the boxes.
But anybody who can...
Anyone that should fit that box. It's a matter of working with your DAs, right? People say, well, we don't get enough support or something like that, but there's a good chance they're probably not spending enough time with their DAs.
That's interesting. That's a little insight. How do you spend your time, or what do you get them to do?
So you need
DA is a development advisor?
Development advisor, yeah. So they need to really know and understand your business, right? Meet them at the trade shows, go visit them, get them down to your factory or whatever you're doing. So the more they know about you, the better they can represent you. So look at them as a salesperson inside Enterprise Ireland for you. Really got to look at it like that.
Just looking at where you are doing business at the moment, it's mostly English speaking. Where are you going to go next? Yeah,
so we're looking at, on the next plan that we're looking at the Middle East and then Latin America as well as next areas that we will.
And when you say that you're looking at that, what do you actually do? Do you sit in an office looking at a map of the world and say, Middle East looks all right?
Looks big. I know. A lot of what we do is we follow, the spectrum, the frequency bands, so we can tell where the next kind of wave of infrastructure is going to be built. So we see the 3.5 gig frequency band where we're very strong on. Like there's in Brazil, Argentina, these places are starting to roll it out. So next step will be to find people that have done business there. We're not going to go in and start from scratch ourselves. So we'll find the right partner and
partner or buy.
Probably partner to start with. Yeah, we always look at who is just to understand how to do business there. Every country we go to, it's different ways of doing business. So
any of them really surprising? Anything that you found, say, "Oh, jeez, lads, this is bad"?
No, look, our first customer was an Israeli customer, so that was kind of a good learning curve for us. So we figured out that.
Discuss. What did you find out there?
Well, first, I guess I'm coming from an engineer background, so I had no sales training or experience. So you go into the office or the first big boardroom, and they're all in there, and it's not sure if they're fighting with each other or talking to each other. But anyways, it ended up turning out to still our probably number one customer to date. So it worked out really well for us.
If you go into the Middle East and or into South America, is that you've said there's 100 of you. I mean, you're stretching yourself.
We're going to expand our team. So so that'll be the next. So as we go towards the end of the year, we'll look at expanding the business. So that's whether we go for an investment round and try to do the next, because right now there's a huge spend on infrastructure. So we want to try capitalize that.
I love chatting to people like you because almost at the end of the chat, he says, we might go for a funding round. Now, I wasn't aware of this. Discuss that one.
Yeah, so, as I kind of mentioned earlier, the investments in the 4G is typically 10 years, 5G is probably going to be another 10 years. So they're at the early stages of this yet. So the real growth is still to come in 5G. We want to make sure that, we've really kind of done a lot of the last number of years. We were too young for when 4G was really at the ramp up.
Okay, yeah.
So 5G now we're well positioned. Our name is out there. We've been delivering product to a lot of key customers. So how do we get the most from that? Make sure that we don't miss that wave. And if that takes additional funding and that to do so.
Now, I won't put you on the spot completely, but I will ask you. So I have to ask you, how much and what kind of money are you looking for? Whose money are you looking for?
Yeah, look, I won't go into I know you put me on the spot, but I won't go into because we haven't have to put the
millions, I presume.
Yes, yeah. We'll put a detailed plan in place and
great.
Go through that.
And so in your little dream, when your little girl who's 16 today goes 21, where do you think you might be?
Yeah, well, we're looking at to be the market leader on telecom street work solutions. So anywhere where they're putting these solutions at street levels, we want to be recognised as that's the leader in that space.
That's pretty cool, isn't it? And another thing that I forgot to ask you about when we were discussing Laois is you're 3D printing down there as well. Yeah,
we do. Like a lot of our mechanical guys use the 3D, so we're constantly doing prototypes. Quick turnaround is we do our simulations or RF simulations or mechanical on SolidWorks. Then we got to turn that into a real product and see before we start going tooling up and things like that. So we do the 3D printing to start, and then once we're proven the design, we tend to tool up then and go just for the better pricing and higher volumes.
And the turnaround on something like that is how quick? I mean, is that just overnight type of thing? Or?
Yeah, some of the stuff is overnight. We have our PC, we'll do a lot of the metal work in-house and we'll do the PCBs, we'll mill them in-house as well. So constantly the technicians and engineers work very close together to make sure. And then we have the test capability, so the full chambers, so we can start like the being able to turn the designs from kind of concept to delivery. We're one of the tags we use, like concept to delivery in 90 days. That's like a new design from many of our key customers. We'll be able to deliver them product. And we're kind of unique when we compare to some of the large competitors we're at. So again, they're pushing the standard product. We offer this kind of the ability to work very close with the customers, try give them what they want as opposed to pushing whatever.
What's out the back?
Yeah, we're back at them so. And that's served us well. It doesn't suit every customer, but the ones we work with customers that see the value in that.
And of course, you said that you have the 100-odd people working with you, but have you ever counted how many other people depend on you? Because people supply you, obviously.
Yeah, we haven't, but we do. And again, there's a lot of that is local as well. So again, a lot of our metal work comes from local suppliers. Or we have another company down in Shannon, NGS in Shannon. There's a lot of our suppliers, packaging companies in Dublin. So lots of local.
People forget that.
Yeah,
and I think it's so important because you remind me of what EI would love the world to go to is that we would have mid-sized companies like yours dotted all across the country. That is, they're family businesses as it is at the moment that are the backbone of the country, because that is what you are, isn't that right?
We're an important part of we're an important part of what's going on there.
People, say down in Laois, 80, 90 people. That is huge. 80, 90 families. That's important. You're kind of very shy about that. I mean, I'd be proud as punch about that.
Yeah, it's a good business, and again, it's a very local. It's a very local business. Like I say, we've a catchment area from both, but the majority of people are probably within 10 miles of that.
So one of the things we do on the program is you are now joining Team GBS because you are a member of Team GBS, and Team GBS are our loyal listeners, and we ask them to back you. Any backing that you would like from them, anything that they could do for you. Now, remember, we are listened to, and I'm definite about this, New Zealand, Australia, across into the States. You know, our lovely people in Connecticut have discussed that with you. We've even got listeners in Paraguay. Our man in Paraguay, Conor McEnroy, might be of interest to you. He's your honorary consul there.
Okay.
And we can bring you places. Where would you like to be brought?
So where would I like to be brought? Well,
I presume you're hiring, so you need people.
Yeah, we're hiring in the US. Where the next investment. Like we're looking at growing our sales or solutions managers over there. So that's probably priority one for us.
Okay. And anything else? Anything for at home here that we can do?
Yeah. So again, we're constantly on the lookout for good engineers, salespeople. Constantly, it's a very exciting, challenging business that we're in. It's constantly changing. So people that come in and take with that mindset, they'll love to get their CVs in.
And you also want residents' associations to be complaining bitterly forever about the antennae, the antennas, anything you want to call them.
Yes, there's a better way to build them, right? Just don't forget that.
Final question we ask all our guests is, who would you, Fergal Lawlor, hire in a heartbeat?
Well, I thought about this. So to hire someone in a heartbeat, it would be my father. He's retired now, so he's not an option for me, but just the way he used to take on, no challenge would have been too big. He had a real kind of can-do attitude. Nothing fazed him. So I think that's a great trait for a business.
Name?
Paddy
Lawlor.
Paddy Lawlor.
And is he living down beside the factory? So in fact, you could still call on him.
I do from time to time.
Good man. Yeah. Paddy Lawlor, grandfather of Jenna, is it?
Yes.
Well done. And thank you so much for joining us. As I say, it only took me guts of a year to try to get you in here, but we finally got you. You will come back. And if anything we can do, as always, Team GBS is here for you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
Fergal Lawlor, thank you so much for joining us on That Great Business Show.
Done Deal Motors is home to Ireland's largest range of new and premium used cars. That's why you'll find cars from Audi and BMW dealerships on Done Deal. Are you looking for a 7-seater to accommodate your growing family? Maybe you're after a luxury saloon to make a statement. We have the car for you. You'll also find Ireland's largest range of electric cars to help you make the switch. Visit donedeal.ie today to start the search for your next car.
De facto shaving oil, the world's best shaving oil, made in Mayo, sold worldwide. It's all go le cuirsi gno on thatgreatbusinessshow.com. That Great Business Show.
And that's it from That Great Business Show, episode 138. 45 minutes of business insights and inspiration thanks to our sponsor, donedeal.ie, the only place to find your next car, new or second-hand. Sign up to our email updates on our website, thatgreatbusinessshow.com, and we'll send you our latest news as well as your own personal copy of the podcast that you can then send on to all of your pals. Show them you're really in touch with what's important in business. And of course, if you want to advertise with us, do contact us on LinkedIn or via the website. We record here at the Dublin South Podcast Studios, where Lee Tomatoes, Antennae Brennan is today's sound engineer. And later on, Neil, I still have a Sky Dish Horner, will ensure our superior signal reaches right across the globe. So buchas to you all. That is it from me, Conal O'Moran, Slán Tamil.